My ex fiance, she did not vote. We didn't vote. We were non-voters together. But if she did vote, she would have voted for Trump.
I think I voted for like Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard.
See, yeah, because of the $1,000 a month. Is that what you were going for?
No, just generally speaking, because the UBI, I mean, we'd have to really figure out some math to not make it all just an inflation game. But at least he's thinking about the issue of how are we going to share all of our wealth rather than some people being the winners and everybody else having nothing.
Yeah.
So at least he's thinking about that, and he just sounded more intelligent and less full of political bullshit than and Tulsi Gabbard too. And I just liked her from getting to listen to her talk longer, and what you saw in the primary debates. Just they gave her like 30 seconds twice, and she still did pretty well. But then everybody, the DNC fucks everybody over, and like that was just so appalling and galling that like. To be manipulated the same way we were from Bernie to Hillary. Yes. This same shit, the DNC. And so it's like, I think so many of us who do care, but who are kind of, more left type people are like, well, fuck the Democratic Party up the ass to hell then. Because if what you're going to give us are these corrupt career politicians who are from, these power families who are probably molesting kids, by the way, like the whole thing is it's really crazy because like what QAnon believes now, the QAnon people believe is actually closer to the truth than what like a good old Democrat who really believes in the party thinks. Like, which is so wild because so everybody thinks that's the that the QAnon is the but crazy. The elites really are fucking our kids, literally and or figuratively. Yes, both. No, they absolutely usually both. Yeah. So. I don't know about the tunnels under the ground and every time there's an earthquake, it's because they're making a new tunnel under the ground for the clones to go from one end of the country or the other with their sex slaves. That might not be real. I wouldn't. If it came out to be true, like I'd be like, okay, like that. I'd be less surprised to hear that than that, our politicians are earnestly doing something to improve our lives. Yeah. But they're making decisions that matter. Or that are positively matter as opposed to just lining their pockets. Or that our government's not going to run out of money. Well, they don't have money. Right. They have I don't think we've ever had money. Have we ever had money? I feel like we've always been running out. Remember when Clinton's whole thing was he was going to balance the budget? Yes. Doesn't that seem like 18 lifetimes ago? Yeah. Balance the budget. Yeah. I'm a bookkeeper and I understand it's difficult to balance a budget, but that's a long time. That's a long time. I mean, it's like the entire world is the roadrunner or whatever who's run off the cliff and hasn't noticed it yet. Because everyone's printing money. Everyone's just promising that our children and grandchildren are going to pay for everything that our grandparents are doing. It's wild. And then like the older people, the boomers, et cetera, they don't know that, every policy, or they don't admit to themselves that every policy has been just a generational transfer of wealth from their children and grandchildren to them. And they all go, you kids should be working harder and not, maybe you don't need to have Netflix if it's too expensive and you just, work hard like we did. And it's like, no, like the entire economy was stacked in your favor. Yes. And it's now stacked against us. Yeah. So, go fuck yourselves. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think, the people that are millennials, like we're just going to be screwed. We're the ones who are screwed in all of this. Yeah. And my hope is that the people, what is the generation after millennials? Is that the Z's? Yeah. That they're going to pick it up. Yeah. Because at least they have the skills. I think we're in the process of like helping dismantle. Yeah. And we're like pointing out the fallacies and saying, look, that's all we can really offer is our wisdom. Yes. Since we'll never really have a lot of money and power. Right. Yeah. We've passed that point in our lives. Yeah. So the only thing we can do is like help dismantle and point out fallacy and like help open up people's minds and really kind of attack this vision that the government has for us and leave it up to the younger people who have more time and energy. And I think we're the bridge basically of the wisdom of our elders. And we are young enough to kind of be able to speak to the younger generations and for them to believe that we do care about all of the social values that they care about. But we're old enough to remember the pre-internet times. We're old enough to like have older people in our lives that we really know and talk to and understand. So yeah, I do see us as kind of almost like a spiritual generation.
Yes.
It's kind of, you know what I mean? Just some shaman tribe.
Yeah, and we're just trying to lead them.
Trying to lead them somewhere.
To sense.
To sense, exactly.
I mean, I think it's almost like we're saying like, it doesn't have to be this way. Like we can't fix it. We don't know what to do, but we know that it doesn't have to be this way, that there is potential for us to like do this in a different way and it be okay for everybody. And it's just unfortunate that we don't get to see that. I don't think that we'll see it in our lifetime, but.
Well, this is why, again, with the neighbors thing, and obviating the need for the government as it is. Like, I know some people who have done this where like they're fixing their own potholes, for instance. And it starts there. That's not much, but it starts there. And then, you know, even everyone has their tiny little lending libraries in front of their yard.
I love that.
So things that we do that are like this, where we're all just giving to each other, really help even show some kind of path out of going, well, we have to have the government. I mean, what would we do without schools? Well, all the schools suck.
Yeah.
What would we do without libraries? I do like the libraries, but we could make our own libraries, and you could pay $5 a month for something where you get books and whatever, you know what I mean? We can do collective things. We can figure out lots of different ways.
We can figure out a lot of things, especially, and I don't agree with robots. I'm terrified of robots taking over and AI and all of that stuff. Yeah. But with all that technology that we have available to us, we can make those things happen. And I love seeing like some of the places where I live, they have like refrigerators out for people, like go put stuff in there. And if you need to, go take stuff out and there's no questions asked. Yeah. And I love that just sense of community. Like you were saying, just like, if you need it, take it.
Yeah. Because when we were living in smaller tribes of, 200 people or fewer, then of course, like everyone took care of each other. How could you not? This is, this
you're watching,
person, this, someone breaks their leg. It's not like, well, fuck you, good luck. You know, it's like you take care of it when people are old or they're young or they're, invalids or whatever. Like everyone takes care of each other. And it's, we don't want to do communism in the sense of centralized government owns everything and, has clipboards where they're assigning us whatever. But what we want is communalism where we all take care of each other, where we have community, where we know each other's needs and skills, et cetera, and our networks for each other. And I think it's just like this sad thing that's happened where, thanks to all those really, really intelligent atheists, they convinced all the smart people that they would be better off without God and better off without religion, which I get that there have been a lot of issues with religion, but religions also function as fraternities and as ways to build social capital and to work together collectively in more efficient ways. And so it's like, well, if we're too smart for that, then now you have all these people who are not reflecting on morals even once a week, who have no community, who have no meaning, who have no purpose.
Right. Because religion is an answer it's an answer to that ultimate question of like what happens after, people need that. And if you're taking that away from people and the community part of it as well, like you're just.
And it's not just, like the community and the what's going to happen after you die. It's religions are something that have always been a rival for the power of the state.
Yeah.
And so now they're like, it's like, we're too smart to have a rival power to the state. Well, guess what? The only powers are the states and the corporations. So religion, it's like, I get it. Your kids got molested and that sucks. But there's a little bit of it like, well, your kids are going to get molested no matter whether there's churches or not. There's always some people working real hard to molest your kids. Yes. There's always going to be some of that.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Where there's a willy, there's often a will. And so, it's just like we're too smart and I just was listening to this podcast Unheard where this guy was interviewing Richard Dawkins and he was kind of asking him like, well, now that we've seen that without religion, without these formal religions, people have kind of like wound up because we still have the kind of these mechanisms in our brain that seem to point us toward something religious.
Yeah,
so now
the question.
There is this kind of like the woke religion has kind of become a thing for people where there's the original sin of being white or male and and you have kind of, you know, words you're not allowed to say, and and things that take away the spirit, and books you shouldn't read. I mean, you can kind of see like all these parallels. And the guy was going like, you know, is it possible that maybe the world is actually worse off because you four horsemen of the atheist apocalypse, whatever, needed to be so right and so smart? And Richard Dawkins is like, well, that's if you care about human flourishing, but I care about the truth.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay. And then he goes, of course I prefer human flourishing, but there's something important about the truth. And you go, well, that's always been my issue with Richard, especially. I mean, I think some of the others, Dan Dennett and Christopher Hitchens and whatever, like some of them had a little bit more nuance in their thinking about this. But Richard has always been so just cocksure in his, like, the worst thing that there could ever be was religion, and the best thing there could ever be would be to get rid of religion. And it's like, well, now all the masses are in withdrawal from that opiate.
Yeah.